8th grader, Daniel Moreno, will present Cesar Chavez, his original speech from 1968. Cesar Chavez is considered the Martin Luther King Jr. for the Hispanic community of the United States. A Mexican-American labor activist who founded the United Farm Workers Labor Union to protect the rights of migrant workers. Senator Robert F. Kennedy described Cesar Chavez as one of the heroic figures of our time. In 2014, President Obama used his authority to proclaim March 31st as the National Cesar Chavez Day. Chavez brought national attention to his cause by organizing non-violent protests, including hunger strikes. In the spirit of Gandhi and Martin Luther King, his famous grape strike and consumer boycott was responsible for pressuring the growers to recognize the United Farm Workers and secure fair wages and safe working conditions for agricultural workers. In 1968, he went on a widely publicized 25-day fast. During this fast, he wrote this speech, a plea for the church to realize a calling to be God's presence in the world that consists in serving the world's poor. Please welcome Daniel Moreno.
The place to begin is with our own experience, with the church in the strike, which has gone on for 31 months in Delano. For in Delano, the church has been involved with the poor in a unique way, which is stand as a symbol to other communities. Of course, when we refer to the church, we should define the word a little. We mean the whole church. The church as an ecumenical body spread around the world, and not just in its particular form in a parish in a local community. The church we are talking about is a tremendously powerful institution in our society and in the world. That church is one form of the presence of God on earth, and so naturally, it is powerful. It is powerful by definition. It is a powerful moral and spiritual force which cannot be ignored by any movement. Furthermore, it is an organization with tremendous wealth. Since the church is to be servant to the poor, it is our fault if that wealth is not channeled to help the poor in our world. In a small way, we have been able, in the Delano strike, to work together with the church in such a way as to bring some of its moral and economic power to bear on those who want to maintain the status quo, keeping farm workers in virtual enslavement. In brief, here's what happened in Delano. Some years ago, we began to realize the powerful effect that the church can have on the conscience of the opposition. In scattered instances, priests would speak out loudly and clearly against specific instances of oppression, and in some cases would stand with the people that were being hurt. At about the same time, we began to run into the California migrant ministry in the camp and fields. They were about the only ones there, and a lot of us were very suspicious since we were Catholic, but they were Protestant. However, they had developed a very clear conception of the church. It was called to serve, to be at the mercy of the poor and not to try and use them. After a while, this made a lot of sense to us, and we began to find ourselves working side by side with them. In fact, it forced us to raise the question, why was our church not doing the same? We would ask, why did the Protestants come out here and help the people, demand nothing, and give all their time to serving farm workers, while our own parish priests stay in their churches where only a few people come and usually feel uncomfortable? When the strike started in 1965, most of our friends forsook us. They ran or were just too busy to help. but the California Migrant Ministry held a meeting with its staff and decided that this strike was a matter of life or death for farm workers everywhere. And that even if it meant the end of the migrant ministry, they would turn over their resources to the strikers. When poor people get involved in a long conflict, such as a strike or a civil rights drive, and the pressure increases each day, there is a deep need for spiritual advice. Without it, we see families crumble, leadership weaken, and hard workers grow tired. We may say, I do not feel any such need. I can get along, but that is a poor excuse for not helping provide such help for others. For we can also say, I do not need any welfare help. I can take care of my own problems. But we are willing to fight like hell for welfare aid, for those who truly need it, those who would starve without it. Likewise, we can say, we do not need the church.